Today, I will bring you an issue titled Your Unemployment in Malaysia. Your unemployment is a major issue in Malaysia, especially among people aged 50 to 34 who are unable to find jobs. According to the OSM, the job unemployment rate is higher than the national rate and because of the COVID-19. One main cause is the mismatch between university skill and employer need. Besides that, low economic growth and the shift toward a digital economy will reduce job opportunity for graduates. Many young people also lack work experience and professional network make it harder for them to compete in the job market. Some graduates are forced to work in low-skilled jobs known as underemployment. This issue can reduce the country's productivity and GDP, while also increasing poverty and social problems. Therefore, better economy policy and more job opportunities are needed to solve your unemployment in Malaysia. In economy, unemployment refers to a situation when individuals who are able and willing to work fail to find a job. There are several types of unemployment that occur in an economy. Among them are frictional unemployment, structural unemployment, cyclical unemployment, and seasonal unemployment.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. My name is Muhammad Rashidi Muhammad Zaidi. Now my grade is 31040. Today in group 7, I want to introduce my part, which is a youth trend of youth unemployment in Malaysia from 2019 to 2024, which is we need to understanding this trend, which reveal critical pattern about unemployment challenges faced by young Malaysian during this 6 years period. Okay, let's start with 2019. The pre-pandemic baseline in 2019, Malaysia youth unemployment rate stood at 11.77%, which is affecting approximately 297,100 people, which is aged 15 to 20 years old. To put this in perspective, the national unemployment rate was only 3.3% during the same period. This means youth unemployment was already 3.5 times higher than the national rate, a dramatic gap that existed before even the COVID-19 pandemic. What practically significant is that this high youth unemployment occurred during a period of economic stability. Malaysia GDP growth rate in 2019 was 4.3%, which is represented a solid economic performance. Despite this strong overall economic growth, youth unemployment remained persistently high, which is reveal a fundamental structural problem. First of all, maybe a strong overall economic growth did not automatically created a job opportunity for a young people. It's indicated that mismatch between the skill of young people possesses and the skill employer actually required. Then we come to the critical starting point in 2020, which is the COVID-19 impact. The year of 2020 marked the highest of youth unemployment during this entire period because of the movement control order, which we simply call MCO, to contain COVID-19. Youth unemployment increased dramatically from 11.77% in 2019 to 13.20% in 2020, which is approximately 336,000 unemployed young Malaysians. Young workers were affected for several important reasons, which is kind of yes. Young workers work in a sector most severely impacted by lockdown. Uh, which is, for example, we have retail shop, restaurant, beverage, and especially tourism industry. These were first to shut down. Second, a critical factor was nature. Uh, Second, a critical factor was the nature of youth employment contract. Young workers often hold temporary and informal contract of youth employment contract rather than a permanent position, making them far more vulnerable to termination. Unlike permanent workers, they could be easily let off without the same legal protection. This period demonstrates how quickly economic shock could eliminate young people to earn an income. From 2021 to 2023, recovery was uneven and fragile. After the peak in 2020, youth unemployment began to decline, but the recovery was slow and incomplete. Youth unemployment decreased from 11.58% in 2021, representing approximately 285,800 unemployed youth. However, this improvement was only still very close to pre-pandemic of level of 11.7%. Between the 2021 and 2023, youth unemployment remained stubbornly high at approximately 12.27 to 12.28%, showing that recovery did not return to pre-pandemic level. In contrast, the national unemployment rate recovered much more quickly, which is decreasing from 4.5% in 2020 to 4.6% in 2021, then to 3.8% in 2022 and 3.4% in 2023. This clearly showed the broader economy recovered much faster than youth employment. Fresh graduates, which is entering the labour market during this fragile recovery phase, a particularly difficult condition, experiencing extended job search for a period of 8 to 12 months on average compared to 6 months before the pandemic. Additionally, the skill mismatch between graduate qualification and employer requirement widened during this period, making it even harder for young employment, especially because young people, to find a suitable job. All right, let's move into current situation, which is in 2024. Youth unemployment do remain unchanged at 12.28%, which is the highest among all age group in Malaysia. Approximately 306,600 young Malaysians, which is aged from 15 to 34, currently unemployed and actively seeking work. This rate is 3.5 times higher than the 3.5 percentage national employment rate, proving youth unemployment is deeply structurally issue. Beyond official employment, approximately 7.6% Malaysia workforce is underemployed, working job that don't utilize their full qualification. Geography, this are struck, which is rural youth face 13.2 percentage employment compared to 8.9% for urban youth. This reflects unequal economic development between urban center and rural areas, which is in village most of the time. Research also show that 42% of Malaysia employers struggle to find candidates with required technical and soft skills, indicating a skill mismatch between education and workplace demanded. In summary, youth unemployment in Malaysia has consistently remained between 11.58% and 13.20% from 2019 to 24. Youth unemployment peaked at 13.20% in 2020 due to COVID-19 before gradually declining to 12.28% in 2024. Throughout this entire year, youth unemployment has been 3 to 4 times higher than the national average. This proves that youth unemployment is not a temporary problem, but rather a deep structural characteristic of Malaysia labour market. That's all for me now. Thank you very much.
Firstly, economic recession is one of the causes of youth unemployment. During economic downturn, companies lose profit and reduce hiring or lay off workers. Youth and fresh graduates are usually the most affected because they have less working experience. Secondly, skill mismatch also contribute to youth unemployment. Many graduates have academic qualification, but these skills do not match the needs of employers. As a result, fresh graduates face difficulties in getting jobs. Lastly, automation and technological development also increase youth unemployment. Many companies use machine and artificial intelligence to replace human workers, especially for low-skilled jobs. Youth without technological skill may struggle to compete in the job market.
For the next part, we are going to see about the impact of youth unemployment. There's two types of youth unemployment, which is first is monetary impact and second is fiscal impact. For the monetary impact, we have reduction in household income. Reduction in household income means there will be unemployed people lost their salary or wages. Once they lost their salary or wages, it will difficult them to afford a basic needs, and they are not going to buy. They only going to focus on necessities, not basic needs. Second is decrease in consumer spending. In this case, people only spend on necessities because they didn't have enough much money for spend into their needs. So this will lower the demand for luxury goods, and this will lead to it will damage their living quality. Third is national economic growth slowdown. When there is an unemployment situation, there will be a lower productivity and lower production in industries. So this will reduce, so it means the unemployed people don't have any income, and they will reduce their investment activities. If they reduce the investment activities, it will cause the fall on GDP growth. Next, we are going to see the fiscal impact. First, fiscal impact is reduce in government tax revenue. When unemployment occurs, there will be less income tax that collected by government. This will make government faces funding difficulties in long term. Secondly, youth unemployment will rises the welfare expenditure for government. This will make government to spend more in unemployment benefits to concave their welfare, or not they will have not enough money, not enough much money for their basic needs also. Lastly, youth unemployment also will increase government borrowing and national debt. This is because when there is an unemployment situation, the government will borrow from other countries to cover their budget deficits, because government is already in insufficient of income when there is less tax income collections. This will increase national debt and cause the long-term financial burden to a country, and it will take time to pay back. So that's all from the part of impacts of youth unemployment. Thank you.
6.0 Government Responses. Malaysia government has introduced several policies to reduce youth unemployment. These policies focus on solving skills mismatch, increasing job opportunities, and helping youth adapt to changes in the economy. 6.1 Skills Development and TVET programs. One important government response is strengthening TVET and skills development programs. These programs provide practical and technical skills that match industry requirements. Graduate employability programs also help fresh graduates gain better skills and work experience. This can reduce structural unemployment and improve youth employability. Next is 6.2 Wage Subsidies and Hiring Incentives. The government also introduced wage subsidies and hiring incentives to encourage firms to hire young workers. By reducing labor costs, companies become more willing to employ fresh graduates, employ youth. This policy helps increase labor demand and creates more job opportunities in the economy. Promotion of entrepreneurship. Besides that, the government promotes entrepreneurship through grants, funding, and training programs. Youth are encouraged to start their own businesses and become self-employed. Entrepreneurship not only reduces dependence on traditional jobs, but also creates new employment opportunities and contributes to economic growth. Is 6.4, which is digital economy and structural transformation. To adapt to technological changes, the government promotes digital economy initiatives such as My Digital, e-commerce training, and IT skills courses. These programs help youth gain digital skills needed in the modern labor market. As a result, youth can adapt to technological changes and reduce structural unemployment. 6.5 Evaluation of government responses. Overall, the government's responses have helped improve youth employability and reduce unemployment. Short-term solution, like wage subsidies, creates immediate job opportunities, while long-term solutions such as TVET and entrepreneurship improve human capital development. However, challenges like skills mismatch and rapid technological changes still exist. Therefore, continuous improvement are needed to ensure stable and quality jobs for Malaysia youth.